My sister's Christmas gift backfired. Her DNA test revealed a shocking family secret. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. What I'm about to share with you is probably the most insane family drama I've ever been part of. My sister tried to humiliate my wife in front of our entire family with a DNA test, thinking she'd expose some big secret. Instead, the whole thing blew up in her face in the worst way possible. Grab your coffee because this gets wild. I'm Michael, 34, married to my amazing wife Jennifer for over a decade now. We have an 11-year-old daughter, Emma, who's basically a mini scientist. Seriously, this kid loves experiments and building things. We live in a Phoenix suburb, nothing fancy, just a comfortable life we've worked hard for. My sister Amanda has been a thorn in my side since we were kids. You know that sibling who could never do wrong in your parents' eyes? The golden child who got away with murder while you got grounded for breathing wrong. That's Amanda. She's always had this attitude like the world revolves around her. And honestly, my parents never called her out on it. I met Jennifer at a mutual friend's wedding when I was 23. We were both sitting alone at the reception, ended up at the same table, and just clicked instantly. We dated for almost 3 years before I proposed at this lookout point she loved. 6 months later we got married, and a year after that, Emma came along. Becoming a parent changed everything for me in the best way. Emma has these beautiful hazel eyes that look almost green in certain light, and she's curious about absolutely everything. Life was good, stable. Then Amanda decided that wasn't acceptable. From the moment I introduced Jennifer to my family, Amanda hated her. I'm talking immediate hostility. Jennifer tried so hard at first. She'd bring wine to family dinners, compliment Amanda's cooking, even though it was mediocre at best, ask about her job at the insurance company. Nothing worked. Amanda had already decided Jennifer wasn't good enough for me, and that was that. The turning point was Amanda's wedding about 7 years ago. She married this guy Marcus. He's actually a decent person, way too good for her honestly. Amanda picked champagne, colored dresses for all her bridesmaids. Not white, not off-white, literally champagne. Jennifer was forced to be a bridesmaid even though they barely tolerated each other. Jennifer showed up wearing exactly what Amanda asked for. Same color, same style as the other bridesmaids. But in Amanda's mind, Jennifer was trying to steal her spotlight. She spent half the reception shooting death glares at Jennifer and making passive, aggressive comments to anyone who'd listen about how some people can't help but make everything about themselves. It was insane, but that's my sister. She creates drama out of thin air and then plays victim when people call her out. After that, it was constant warfare. Every family gathering turned into some kind of competition. Jennifer wore a new outfit. Amanda would mention she saw something similar at a discount store last year. Emma got an A on a math test. Well, Amanda's son Tyler apparently did even better and just got into some gifted program we'd never heard of. Jennifer cooked dinner for a family event. Too much garlic, not enough salt, overcooked, whatever criticism Amanda could think of. The worst part was that my parents enabled all of it. When I'd bring up how Amanda treated Jennifer, Mom would say things like, "Oh, you know how your sister is. She doesn't mean anything by it." Dad would just change the subject completely, like problems didn't exist if we didn't talk about them. Classic enablers. But Jennifer and I kept the peace for Emma's sake. She and Tyler were close, only about a year apart in age, and we didn't want adult drama ruining their friendship. The kids would spend holidays running around together, playing video games, building Lego sets. They were tight, and that mattered more than anything else. Marcus was always trying to smooth things over. When Amanda got out of control, he'd apologize, try to calm her down, play mediator. I honestly felt bad for the guy. Jennifer handled things better than I did. She'd just smile and nod when Amanda was acting up, then vent to me later at home. We had this system worked out. Don't engage, don't escalate, let Amanda tire herself out. It worked fine until last Christmas when Amanda decided quiet warfare wasn't enough anymore. We were at my parents' house in Scottsdale for the usual holiday celebration. Presents under the tree, kids hyped up on sugar, adults drinking too much spiked punch and pretending to enjoy each other's company. When it came time for gift exchange, Amanda made a big production of handing out presents. Mom got a nice scarf, Dad got some craft beer sampler, Marcus got a new watch, Tyler got the latest gaming headset. She even got something for Emma, which was unusual given how Amanda normally acted. Then she walked over to Jennifer and handed her a small wrapped box with this smile that didn't reach her eyes. And Jennifer opened it. Inside was a grocery store gift card. $30. I figured use it for groceries, Amanda said with a shrug. I know with just one income, money's tight. Jennifer worked full-time as a graphic designer. We had 2 incomes, Amanda knew this. It was just another insult disguised as generosity. Jennifer smiled politely. Thanks, Amanda. Very thoughtful. But I saw the hurt flash across her face before she covered it up, and I knew I was done putting up with this garbage. Then Amanda gave Emma her gift. It was one of those Ancestry DNA kits, the kind where you spit in a tube, mail it in, and find out you're 2% Irish or whatever. Emma loved it. She's into science, thinks genetics are fascinating. So she opened the thing like it was the latest iPhone. Meanwhile, I'm watching Amanda watch us, and she's got this smug, satisfied look on her face like she just executed a chess move she's been planning for months. Jennifer caught it too. We made eye contact across the room, and I could see the same thing running through her mind that was running through mine. What's she planning? That night after everyone went to bed and Emma was asleep, Jennifer and I talked in our bedroom. Your sister's up to something, Jennifer said, sitting on the edge of the bed. Yeah, I got that feeling too, I said. But what? It's a DNA test. What's the angle? Jennifer was quiet for a moment, then it clicked. Emma's eyes, she said. I frowned. What about them? They're hazel. Almost green. You have brown eyes. I have brown eyes. Your sister's been making comments about it for years. Little digs about how genetics are funny, how you never know what you're going to get. Michael, I think she's trying to imply Emma isn't yours. My stomach dropped because Jennifer was right. Amanda had been dropping hints for years. Never direct enough to confront, but enough to plant seeds of doubt. Comments like, isn't it weird how Emma doesn't look like you? Or, where did those eyes come from? Always said in this fake, innocent tone, like she was just making conversation, when really she was implying Jennifer had cheated, and I was raising another man's child. I was furious. Like seeing red, want to punch a wall furious, but I'm not the type to blow up. Then we let Emma take the test. I said finally. Jennifer looked at me. You sure? Positive. Because when it comes back showing I'm her father, which it will, I'm shoving those results in Amanda's face and watching her squirm. Jennifer nodded. Okay, then we do it. Emma was excited about the test anyway. She swabbed her cheek the next day, packaged it up, and mailed it off. The kid was checking the tracking number every day, like she was waiting for an Amazon package. What we didn't expect was Tyler's involvement. Tyler, who was 13 and always curious, saw Emma doing the DNA test and wanted one too. He started bugging Marcus and Amanda about it, talking about how cool it would be to find out their ancestry, maybe discover some distant relatives. Marcus thought it sounded fun. A family thing, educational, no big deal. Here's where things get interesting. Amanda actually tried to shut it down, making excuses about the cost, about how it was a waste of time, about how they already knew their ancestry. But Marcus had already ordered the kit and Tyler was pumped. Fast forward a few weeks. Emma's results came back. She was bouncing off the walls excited and begged me to wait until I got home so we could look at them together. That evening, the 3 of us sat at the kitchen table, Emma's tablet in the middle showing her ancestry breakdown. Emma grinned at me. See, I'm definitely yours, Dad. I ruffled her hair. We shared a moment, Jennifer and I making eye contact across the table. The results confirmed what we already knew. Now we had proof. I texted Amanda a screenshot of the results with a single message. Looks like Emma's mine after all. Funny how genetics work, huh? She didn't respond. Radio silence, which was fine with me. I let her sit with it. But 4 days later, Marcus called me. His voice was shaking and he dropped a bomb nobody saw coming. Michael, I need to talk to you in person. Can I come over? 25 minutes later, he was sitting in my living room looking like death. His face was pale, his eyes bloodshot, his hands trembling. Jennifer brought him water, but he didn't touch it. Tyler's results came back, he said quietly. I waited. Something in his tone told me this wasn't good news. I'm not his father. The room went silent. Jennifer's hand went to her mouth, and I just stared at Marcus, trying to process what he'd just said. What do you mean you're not his father? I asked. He pulled out his phone, unlocked it, scrolled to the DNA results, and slid it across the coffee table. I picked it up and looked through it. Tyler's DNA relatives were listed. Some distant cousins, a few fourth and fifth connections. But there was a match for a half-sibling. Tyler's 7-year-old sister, Lily. I tested Lily too, Marcus said, his voice cracking. She's not mine either. I sat back on the couch, feeling like I'd been punched. This wasn't a one-time affair or mistake. This was years of lying. Years of Amanda letting Marcus raise children who weren't his, never saying a word, never planning to say a word. Does Amanda know? Jennifer asked. Marcus laughed bitterly. Oh, she knows. I confronted her last night. She tried to deny it at first, said the test must be wrong, that these things aren't always accurate. But I pushed, and she finally admitted it. Said she'd been having an affair with some guy from work, that it happened during a rough patch in our marriage. He looked at me. We never had a rough patch, Michael. We were fine. She just decided to cheat. Jesus Christ, I muttered. Marcus continued. I filed for divorce this morning, and I'm going for full custody. I don't care that they're not biologically mine. They're my kids and I'm not leaving them with her. Not after this. I didn't know what to say. What do you say to that? He was a good guy, a good father, and Amanda had destroyed him. After Marcus left, Jennifer and I sat in silence, absolutely stunned. Your sister tried to expose me as a cheater. Jennifer finally said, her voice cold. And instead, she exposed herself. Karma, I muttered. Karma's a bitch. My parents found out from Amanda, who apparently called them crying about how Marcus was overreacting and being cruel. Mom called me later day, wanting me to talk Marcus out of the divorce and custody fight. I shut that down immediately, telling her Amanda had earned every consequence coming her way. She didn't like that answer. Neither did Dad when he tried the same approach a few days later. They were never going to hold Amanda accountable for anything. Within a week, the whole family knew. Holiday dinner plans were falling apart and everyone had an opinion. Some sided with Marcus. Others, mostly my parents and a few of Amanda's friends, sided with her, saying Marcus was being vindictive and cruel. Amanda started calling and texting me constantly, leaving voicemails that ranged from begging for help to accusing me of abandoning her. I ignored most of them, but one night she showed up unannounced at our house. Jennifer answered the door. I heard Amanda's voice in the living room already escalating. I need to talk to Michael. Let me in. He doesn't want to talk to you, Jennifer said calmly. Of course you'd say that. This is probably exactly what you wanted. Turning him against his own family. You're such a home-wrecking witch. Wow, that's generous coming from you, Amanda. I stood up, walked to the door, and stepped between them. What's going on here? I asked. Jennifer's right. I don't want to talk to you. Amanda's face was blotchy and red from crying. You're supposed to be on my side. I'm your sister. And Marcus is a good person who didn't deserve what you did to him. I fired back. You cheated, Amanda. You lied for years. You let him raise kids who weren't his. And now you're mad that there are consequences. It was a mistake, she insisted, though her voice had a sharp edge. I screwed up, okay? But Marcus is trying to ruin me. He's poisoning everyone against me, and you're just letting it happen. You ruined yourself, I said. Amanda's expression changed. The fake softness dropped away, replaced by cold fury. You're choosing him over me. Your own blood. I'm choosing what's right. Right, she said coldly. You've always thought you were better than everyone else. Must feel good up there, on your high horse, judging everyone. I'm not judging everyone. Just you. Fine, she shouted. When this all blows up in your face, and it will, don't come crying to me. You made your choice. She stormed off. Jennifer closed and locked the door and we just stood there for a moment, processing. That went well, Jennifer said dryly. I snorted. Yeah, real productive. But as much as I wanted to stay out of it, I knew we were already in it. Amanda wasn't going to let this go quietly, and Marcus was going to need all the help he could get. The texts started coming every day, but not to me. After the doorstep confrontation, I blocked her. But she was texting Jennifer, my parents, Marcus, anyone with a phone number. Long rambling messages about how everyone was against her, how Marcus was poisoning the kids, how the family had abandoned her in her darkest hour. My mom bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. The phone calls started again. Same script, different day. I told her the same thing every time. I was done enabling Amanda's behavior. She eventually stopped asking and moved straight into guilt trips about how cold and cruel I was being. I mentally added her to the list of people too invested in the drama. Meanwhile, Marcus was barely holding it together. He'd moved out of the house he shared with Amanda, staying with a friend while the divorce proceedings started. The custody battle was shaping up to be ugly. Amanda had already hired a lawyer. Her strategy was claiming Marcus was obsessive, controlling and emotionally abusive. Completely fabricated. Marcus called me one night, his voice strained with frustration. She's accusing me of being abusive. Isolating her from friends, controlling the finances, all lies. And people believe her. Who believes her? I ask. Your parents, for one. Some of her friends. A few people from church. She's convinced them all that I'm a monster trying to punish her for one mistake. Don't worry about them, I said. Focus on the custody case. Gather whatever evidence you have. Texts, emails, anything that shows what actually happened. Let your lawyer handle the rest. I'm trying, Marcus said. But she's making this so much harder than it has to be. She won't let me see the kids without supervision. Says I'm a threat to them. Tyler's asking questions and I don't know what to tell him. The kid was stuck in the middle of this nightmare, caught between two parents who couldn't be in the same room without it turning into a war zone. Emma had been asking about him several times, wondering why Tyler wasn't returning her texts. I'd given Emma the sanitized version. Tyler's parents were going through a divorce. Things were complicated, but I knew she'd eventually want the whole story. That's when I realized it was time to stop playing defense and start playing offense. Here's the thing about people like Amanda. She thought she could control the narrative, manipulate the family, play victim, and everyone would fall in line. She forgot I'm not the type to roll over. I started gathering evidence. Text messages from Amanda over the years, passive-aggressive comments, snarky remarks about Jennifer, thinly veiled accusations about Emma's paternity. I took screenshots, organized them in a folder. Jennifer did the same, adding her own collection of texts and emails. Then I contacted Marcus's lawyer and offered to be a character witness. Testify about Amanda's behavior, provide evidence of her pattern of manipulation and dishonesty. The lawyer was thrilled. Family testimony carries weight in custody battles, and having Amanda's own brother testify against her would be devastating. But I wanted to do more. Testifying was one thing, but I needed something that would really hit Amanda where it hurt. That's when I remembered the family trust. A little backstory. Years ago, my grandparents on my dad's side set up a trust for their grandchildren. Not a fortune, but significant. About $45,000 per grandchild, to be distributed when we turned 38. I was supposed to get mine in 4 years. Amanda would get hers in 2. But here's the kicker. The trust had a morals clause. If any beneficiary, in this case meaning us kids, engaged in morally abhorrent behavior, they could be removed from the trust and their portion redistributed to the other beneficiaries. My grandparents were old school, Catholic, strict about family values. Infidelity would have been a deal-breaker for them, and the terms of the trust were clear. Adultery qualified as grounds for removal. I pulled out the trust documents, read through them carefully, then asked our family lawyer to verify my interpretation. He confirmed it. The morals clause was explicit. Adultery was specifically listed as disqualifying behavior, and as trustee, Dad had a fiduciary duty to enforce it. Armed with that legal opinion, I called my father. Hey Dad, we need to talk about the family trust. There was a pause. What about it? Specifically the morals clause. You're aware that Amanda committed adultery, right? Another longer pause. Michael, I don't think. Dad, I'm not asking for your opinion. I'm informing you that according to the terms Grandma and Grandpa clearly laid out, Amanda's actions disqualify her from receiving her portion. As trustee, you're legally required to enforce that clause. I had our family lawyer review it. It's ironclad. This isn't the time. This is exactly the time. Amanda broke the rules. There are consequences. You enforce them or I will. Dad sputtered. You can't do that. Actually, I can. And trust me, I will. If you try to sweep this under the rug or pretend it doesn't apply, I'll find out and I'll make it very public. Silence. I could almost hear the gears turning in his head. Dad was conflict-averse, always had been. The prospect of going to court scared him more than disappointing Amanda. Fine, he said finally. I'll review the documents. You do that. And Dad, if you try to hide this or pretend it doesn't apply, I'll find out. And I'll make it extremely public. I hung up. Jennifer was watching from the couch, eyebrows raised. Did you just threaten your father? I gave him a reality check. I corrected. There's a difference. She grinned. That was kind of hot. Glad you think so. Amanda's going to lose her mind. 2 weeks later, Dad sent Amanda an official letter informing her she'd been removed from the trust for violating the morals clause. Her 45,000 was being redistributed. Half to me, half to our younger brother who'd wisely avoided all the drama. She lost it. Called Dad screaming, threatened to sue, said he was stealing from her. Dad, to his credit, held firm. Maybe he was just scared I'd follow through on my threat. Mom called crying about how cruel I was being. I told her Amanda could take it up with Grandma and Grandpa if she disagreed with their rules. She hung up on me. Amanda tried calling me after that. Left voicemails screaming about how I'd ruined her life, how I was a terrible brother, how I'd always been jealous of her. I saved every message in case I needed them later. Jennifer asked me once if I felt bad about it. Not even a little bit, I said honestly. She gets what she deserves. The custody battle escalated into full-scale war. Marcus fought with everything he had. His lawyer was a sharp family attorney named Catherine. Marcus had evidence. Lots of it. Messages where Amanda admitted to the affair, credit card statements, showing purchases at hotels and restaurants during times she claimed to be working late, testimony from coworkers who'd seen her with the guy, some finance guy named Brian from her office. Brian, by the way, wanted nothing to do with the situation. He lawyered up and went radio silent. Smart move. But it meant Amanda had no ally. Guy wasn't going to jump in and play stepdad. Amanda's lawyer tried to paint Marcus as unstable. Said he was obsessed with revenge, that he was using the kids as pawns, that he wanted full custody to punish Amanda rather than protect them. But Marcus had the moral high ground and his lawyer knew how to use it. The preliminary hearings were brutal. I attended a few as Marcus's support system, sitting in the gallery while the lawyers fought. Amanda showed up looking like a kicked puppy, red eyes, tissue in hand, playing the tragic mother. The performance was Oscar-worthy, but the judge seemed unimpressed. At one hearing, Amanda's lawyer tried to argue that Marcus wasn't the biological father and therefore had no legal custody rights. Catherine shut it down fast. Mr. Marcus has been the only father these children have ever known. He's raised them, provided for them, loved them. Biology doesn't erase that. The judge seemed to agree. Marcus was granted temporary custody pending the final hearing, while Amanda got supervised visits twice a week. Amanda didn't handle it well. She started showing up at the kids' school, trying to take them out for lunch or pick them up early. The school had to put a note in their system that only Marcus was authorized to make decisions for Tyler and Lily. She threw a fit, threatened to sue the school, generally made herself look worse. Tyler was struggling hard. Emma told me he'd gotten into a fight at school when a kid made a joke about his mom. Tyler hit him, got suspended for 3 days. Marcus was at his wit's end trying to keep Tyler stable amid Amanda's constant chaos. That's when I decided to get more personally involved. I called Marcus. Invite Tyler over this weekend. Let him and Emma hang out. Jennifer and I will watch them. Marcus asked. I'm sure. The kid needs normalcy. Emma misses him. Let them be kids for a few hours. That Saturday, Marcus dropped Tyler off at our house. The kid looked rough, but when Emma suggested they play video games, his face brightened a little. While the kids were upstairs, Marcus, Jennifer, and I sat in the living room. How are you holding up? Jennifer asked. Marcus shrugged. Some days are better than others. The hearing's in 3 weeks. Catherine thinks we have a strong case, but Amanda keeps throwing curveballs. Last week she claimed I'd stolen money from her bank account, which is completely false, but it wastes time and makes me look bad. She's desperate, I said. Desperate people do stupid things. Yeah, well, her stupid things are making my life hell. I leaned forward. Marcus, I'm testifying at the hearing. So is Jennifer. And so are my parents, whether they like it or not. He blinked. Your parents. Catherine's calling them as witnesses. They're being subpoenaed. They'll either tell the truth about Amanda's behavior or commit perjury. Either way, it helps you. He teared up. Michael, I don't know what I'd do without you. You'd figure it out. But you don't have to. We've got your back. As the court date approached, I prepped my testimony with Catherine. She asked straightforward questions and I didn't hold back. I told her about the wedding incident, the years of passive-aggressive comments toward Jennifer, the DNA test stunt that implied Jennifer had cheated, the insulting Christmas gift. Jennifer owned too. She had her own stories. We had more than enough to paint a clear picture of who my sister was. My parents, meanwhile, were furious about being disappointed. Mom called me in tears. How could you do this? We're going to have to testify against our own daughter. You're going to have to tell the truth. She's your daughter, and she's a liar. I'm not pretending otherwise to save her feelings. Dad took a different approach. He called trying to reason with me, suggesting we settle things within the family instead of airing everything in court. It's too late for that, I said. The hearing was scheduled for a Tuesday morning. Marcus, Catherine, Jennifer, and I arrived early. Amanda came with her lawyer, looking put together but pale. Her eyes locked on me, and the venom in her expression was almost tangible. The courtroom was smaller than I'd expected. Wood paneling, fluorescent lights, lingering smell of stale coffee. Tension. The judge looked uninterested in theatrics. Catherine, Marcus's lawyer, came out strong. She laid out the facts. Amanda's infidelity, the years of deception, the DNA test that proved Tyler and Lily weren't Marcus's biological children. She provided evidence. Messages, emails, credit card statements showing hotel charges, during times Amanda claimed to be at business conferences. Amanda's lawyer tried to frame it as a private matter between spouses. Catherine destroyed the argument in about 30 seconds. Your Honor, this isn't about punishing Ms. Amanda for her infidelity. It's about exposing a pattern of dishonesty and manipulation that undermines her ability to provide a stable environment for these children. The judge listened, took notes, called the first witness. Marcus took the stand. He stayed calm, composed, as he answered questions about his relationship with Tyler and Lily, how he'd raised them since they were babies, how he'd been their primary caretaker while Amanda focused on her career. They're my kids, Marcus said. Biology doesn't change that. I've been their father for 12 and 6 years respectively, and I'm not abandoning them now. Amanda took the stand next, looking every bit the wounded party as her lawyer lobbed softball questions about her love for the kids, her dedication to being a good mother, her regret over the affair. I made a terrible mistake, Amanda said, her voice shaking, but I never stopped loving my children. Catherine's cross-examination was surgical. How long did your affair last? Amanda hesitated. A few years. So not a one-time mistake, but a sustained pattern of infidelity over multiple years. Correct? Yes. Yes. You allowed your husband to believe the children were his. Wes! Did you ever consider telling him the truth? Long pause. I didn't want to hurt him. Catherine raised an eyebrow. So instead you let him raise children he thought were his own. Amanda's composure cracked. I didn't think it would end up like this. This is all Marcus's fault for being so vindictive. But you did plan to continue the deception if not for the DNA test. You would have continued lying. Correct. Amanda didn't answer. The judge prompted her to respond. Yes, she whispered. It went downhill from there. Catherine brought up texts Amanda had sent Marcus after he filed for divorce. Manipulative, threatening, trying to use the kids as leverage. She mentioned Amanda's attempts to violate the temporary custody arrangement, her showing up at school, her harassment of Marcus's friends and family. By the time Catherine was done, Amanda looked like she'd been put through a wood chipper. Then it was my turn to testify. I took the stand, swore in, sat down. Catherine smiled at me. Mr. Michael, how long have you known the respondent, Ms. Amanda? My whole life. She's my older sister. And in that time, have you observed any concerning patterns of behavior? I looked at Amanda. She was staring at me with pure hatred. I looked back at Catherine. Yes. Amanda's always been manipulative. She'd lie to get out of trouble, blame others, play the victim. Can you provide examples? I walked through the key incidents. The wedding dress debacle, years of passive-aggressive behavior toward Jennifer, the insulting Christmas gift, finally the DNA test stunt. And what was the result of the DNA test? Catherine asked. It confirmed my daughter is mine. Amanda's attempt to cast doubt on my marriage backfired. Amanda's lawyer objected. Speculation, Your Honor. The judge looked at me. Mr. Michael, please stick to facts. Yes, Your Honor. Amanda gave my 11-year-old daughter a DNA test for Christmas with the apparent intention of causing problems in my marriage. Catherine nodded. How would you characterize Ms. Amanda as a mother? I chose my words carefully. I think Amanda loves her children, but love isn't enough. She consistently prioritizes her own needs over theirs. Marcus, on the other hand, has been a constant, loving presence. If the goal is stability and the children's well-being, Marcus is the better choice. The final nail in the coffin came from an unexpected source. Tyler's school counselor. She'd been working with Tyler since the separation started, and had pages of notes on his emotional state. She testified that Tyler had expressed feeling torn between his parents, that Amanda had been feeding him a narrative where Marcus was the villain, and that this was damaging Tyler's mental health. He told me he wished things could go back to normal, the counselor said. But he also said he felt safer with his father, and that his mother was making him choose sides. Amanda's lawyer tried to discredit the counselor, but it didn't work. The damage was done. After 2 days of testimony, the judge called for closing arguments. Catherine hammered the key points. Amanda's dishonesty, her failure to prioritize the children. She argued that Marcus had proven himself to be the stable, loving parent the kids needed. Judge Brennan took a 10-minute recess, then returned to deliver her ruling. I've considered all the evidence and testimony in this case. I'm granting Mr. Marcus primary physical custody. Ms. Amanda will have supervised visitation. The gavel came down. Amanda's face went white. Marcus exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for months. He walked out of the courtroom looking different. Lighter. His lawyer shook his hand, told him she'd file the final paperwork, reminded him Amanda could still appeal. But given the strength of the case, it seemed unlikely to succeed. Amanda didn't handle it well. She sat frozen for a moment after the judge's decision, then turned to her lawyer and started arguing. Her lawyer looked exhausted, like he'd spent the entire trial trying to manage an impossible client. Outside the courthouse, Marcus approached Jennifer and me. "I don't know how to thank you," he said, his voice cracking. "You guys showed up when Rebecca's family didn't." "Your family too," I corrected. "And you were there for those kids when it mattered. That's all that counts." Jennifer hugged him. "You're going to do great, Marcus. Those kids are lucky to have you." He nodded, wiped his eyes, walked to his car. He needed to pick up Tyler and Lily from school. I felt good about it. Not in a vindictive way. Okay, I'm not going to lie. Watching Amanda lose was satisfying. But only because the right thing happened. The kids were going to be okay. They had a solid parent in their corner. Amanda, meanwhile, spiraled. My mother called that night crying. "She's devastated, Michael. She lost her children. How can you be okay with this? She lied, cheated, and manipulated," I said, keeping my voice level. "She created an unstable environment. The judge made the right call. She hung up on me again. It was becoming a pattern." The family dynamic shifted after that. Holiday plans fell apart because nobody could agree on where to go or who to invite. Amanda refused to show up if Marcus and the kids were there. My parents tried to stay neutral but ended up annoying everyone. It was messy. But it was honest. Emma asked me once why we weren't seeing Aunt Amanda anymore. Aunt Amanda made some bad choices. I explained carefully. "We're still supporting Tyler and Lily, but Aunt Amanda and I won't be close for a while. Is Tyler going to be okay? He's got his dad. He's got us. He'll be okay." Emma went back to her homework, satisfied with the answer. Over the following months, Tyler and Lily adjusted. Started therapy, slowly recovered. Marcus started dating someone new, a teacher at Lily's school. Nice woman, patient, good for him. Amanda had 2 hours of supervised visitation every other Saturday at a family resource center. According to what I heard, the visits were awkward. She spent most of the time trying to convince the kids that Marcus had turned them against her, that the legal system was unfair, that she was the real victim. The kids stopped engaging, stopped opening up. The visits became something they endured rather than enjoyed. The court-appointed therapist noted all of this, recommended Amanda seek her own therapy to work through her issues before the visitation schedule would be reconsidered. She refused. Said she didn't need therapy, that everyone else was the problem. Shocking, right? As for the family trust fund, I got word that Amanda's portion had been officially redistributed. Half went to me, half to our younger brother. I didn't need the money. Jennifer and I were doing fine. But I wasn't about to turn it down either. We put it in Emma's college fund. Seemed fitting. Amanda found out and sent me one final text, which I'd briefly unblocked to see. "I hope you're happy. You've destroyed my life." I looked at it for a second before typing back. "You made your bed, sister." I blocked her again. Haven't heard from her since. The following year, we hosted Christmas. Marcus brought the kids. My younger brother came with his wife and kids. A few relatives who'd stayed neutral during the whole mess stopped by. My parents didn't come. They chose to spend the holidays with Amanda, which was fine with me. Less tension, more pie. The house felt peaceful. Life's funny that way. You try to destroy someone else and karma has other plans. Amanda learned that lesson the hard way. She wanted to humiliate my wife, prove Jennifer was unfaithful, make me look like a fool raising another man's child. Instead, she exposed her own affair, lost custody of her kids, got cut out of the family trust, and ended up isolated from most of the family. All because of a DNA test she gave as a Christmas gift. I still think about that moment sometimes. Amanda handing Emma that wrapped box with that smug smile on her face, thinking she just pulled off the perfect scheme, not knowing she just lit the fuse on a bomb that would blow up her entire life. Marcus is doing great now. The kids are thriving. Tyler's grades improved. He's back to being the kid we always knew. Lily's in dance classes and loves them. Marcus's new girlfriend Sarah is wonderful with them, patient and kind, everything Amanda never was. Emma asks about them regularly. We have them over once a month for dinner and game nights. The kids get to maintain their friendship without the toxic adult drama that used to surround everything. As for Amanda, last I heard she was still working at the insurance company, still claiming to be the victim, still blaming everyone but herself. My parents see her regularly, enable her behavior like they always have. Some things never change. But that's not my problem anymore. I drew my line in the sand and I'm standing on the right side of it. Sometimes family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up when things get hard, who tells the truth even when it's uncomfortable, who protects the people who can't protect themselves. Marcus showed up for those kids. Jennifer and I showed up for Marcus. That's what family should be. The DNA test that was supposed to destroy my marriage ended up revealing who people really were. Amanda thought she was so clever, so calculated. But all she did was shine a light on her own lies. And you know what? I sleep just fine at night knowing I chose the right side. Thanks for listening to this wild story, everyone. If you made it this far, drop a comment below. Have you ever dealt with a family member who tried to sabotage your life? How did you handle it? I'd love to hear your stories. And remember, sometimes karma doesn't need your help. Sometimes it needs a DNA test and a smug sister who thought she was untouchable. Until next time, take care of yourselves and the people who matter. Blood doesn't always make you family, and family doesn't always share your blood.